I'm Asia with Chi-Chi's Beauty Salon, and today we are sitting down with Vivvyanne Forevermore, and she's going to teach us how to do her club brow look.
Hi everyone, I'm Vivvyanne Forevermore, and today we're going to show you how to do club brows.
Club brows!
First step is cleaning your face. Asia has taken off her previous makeup, and her brows are clean. The first product that I'm going to use for covering brows is the Salon Scar and Effect Wax. It comes in this little disc. There's a lot of different ways to cover brows. This is just the one that I'm using currently, and it works pretty good unless you're in a really humid environment. I use my thumbnail to get the makeup out of the dish, then get a good little bit of it. And you can use your thumbnail or your fingertip to apply the wax. Asia has fairly thin brows, so I'm just going to use my fingertip. And the area you're going to want to focus on is the part closest to your nose, because that's where a lot of the hairs, the highest density of hairs is. So the purpose of the wax is to smooth down the hairs and create an area that makeup can sit on top of so that we can disguise them. The other purpose is to fill in spaces between the hairs, again, to create an area where you can put on makeup. So if you have really bushy or thick brows, you're going to want to push a lot of wax into that area and make sure it's smooth on top. Next, I'm going to take my setting powder, and what I use is a Salon anti-shine powder. It's a little less expensive than major brands, and this one has a lot of cornstarch in it, or whatever that is, that keeps it really dry and keeps your face from sweating all over the place. You want to pack it onto your puff, and then you're going to press pretty firmly onto the brow. And you're going to use your finger to test to see if any of the brow is still tacky, and reapply in those areas that you need to. And then you're going to use your puff and just gently dust away any excess powder, because we have not yet put any foundation on her face. Now, using whatever foundation that you use, you're going to cover you do all of your foundation at this point. I'm just going to cover the area, because we're only focusing on this area right now. I use a cream foundation, again from Salon. It's called a TV Paint Stick. I apply with my fingers. Do it however you normally need to. But when you're doing this area, it's best first to press the foundation into the area. And there's two reasons for that. One is you want to get a good bit there because the powder you've put on might absorb some of the oils of it and create a different pigment. And the other one is because you do want to fill any spaces that are left that the wax didn't get. And I'm just going to put a little foundation around the area because we're going to be applying makeup here, but I'm not going to worry about her whole face. And some queens say you need to cook and all of this stuff. I just put powder on right away so that we don't get any creases from moving the face around. So again, with a really packed powder puff, you're going to powder the area. And again, pressing on the brow first before you get the excess off. So as you can see, we have a really smooth area for putting on makeup. Also, most of the color of her brow hairs is gone, but we're also going to apply makeup on top of that area to get rid of that last little bits of brownness. The product I'm using now is an aqua-based product from Salon. I find that the aqua-based colors go on really smoothly, especially with this method. A lot of folks will take a thinner brush and draw on their brows and then fill in the area. I just take a square brush, not a square angle brush, and I do it in one motion, and this creates a nice ratio between like the beginning and then the tail, and it gives you a more control over the arc and a little bit more symmetry when getting them on. So I load up my brush with color, and I start my brows, my club brows, where my normal brows would start. And then you want to draw upwards, over, and then down. Upwards, over, and then down. As you can see, we have a little excess that bled through because my brush was a little wet, but we take care of that in a moment, which is actually an important part of the process, which is cleaning up any mistakes. So I'm going to let that dry. While this area dries so that I can correct it later, I'm going to just fill in other spaces because you won't get an even distribution of makeup because it wears out as you go along. So what you do want to do is fill in with an angle brush because you have a little bit more control for tighter areas. And this would be a point at which you might fix the arch if you don't like the way it came out and just adjust. So the square gives you a really great base to work with, and then you can adjust as you want. And the reason why I use aqua is because if I don't like this tail, I can just get a wet Q-tip and take it off and start over. It comes off right away. Another trick is setting your face with hairspray so that if you're a big sweater, it won't come off. Though I find that I often wear aqua around my mouth and it doesn't come off anyway. This would be the time that you'd want to put on your highlight. If there's any color still showing through of the actual brow, I use an aqua color again from Krylon, and this will actually go over really well and hide any of the color. You can do it with a color that's the same color as your flesh, or with a white, which I would use for highlight anyway. And because it's aqua, you don't need to set it with powder, but to make it more blendy and beautiful, you can. And the good thing about this white aqua is it tends to cancel out the other aquas, and so if you don't like an area, like down here, let's go, you can cover it up. What you do is let this dry, then put on some white eyeshadow on top of it, and then all the other shadows will go on in a smooth way on top of the wax and the skin in the same consistency, and you won't see any difference in your blending. There you go, everyone. Vivvyanne Forevermore Club Brow, quick and dirty. And like I said, using a square brush gets the correct angle and the right ratio on the taper at the end. It looks a little ridiculous without the rest of the makeup, but this is what we got tonight.
Thank you, Vivvy, for sharing your makeup secrets with us. And remember, get it, love it, #me.